So when I get to work, it's either going to be patients or it's going to be meetings. So as I mentioned, I'm going to set up beforehand. And so usually I'll get there about half an hour earlier or so. I'll say hello to folks, make sure everyone's there, everything's ready for things to proceed. I'll read through my patient's charts, of course, and I'll start seeing my patients. In between patients, if I have a fellow with me that day, I'll take care of phone calls and I'll take care of emails. For me, an interesting thing. A lot of the first half of the day for me is sort of tagging what has to happen before 5 o'clock, versus what has to happen after 5 o'clock. So there are multiple hats that I wear, right? So I see patients, obviously, but I also, as division chief, do a lot of administrative work, uh, and so emails are constantly coming in, and they need to be triaged essentially. There are some things that have to happen before end of day, and there's some things that do not. And that's what I'm doing kind of in between patients and after patients. I always have lunch unless something really unusual is happening for a variety of reasons. One, I think it's really important to have that break in the day. Two, lunch is actually where you get to know your colleagues, at least for me. Um, Seeing patients is very, very busy. It's a different kind of environment. I think it's important to feel like you're a part of where you work. And part of that is breaking bread with the people that you work with. So even if it's only 20 minutes or half an hour, I make sure to always do that. It's how I've made most of my friends in the department. It's how I've gotten to know the fellows and everyone else. So I do a lot of half days. So when it's not my clinic full day, the second half of the day will be either research patients or administrative meetings of one type or another. So I'll use that latter 15 minutes or so. I'll leave lunch for like 12:45 or so and prep for that. And then it's off to those. The second half of the day is where it gets really, really variable. So like I mentioned, that's where I'm sort of taking care of the things that may have to be done before end of day. Like, there'll be an emergency. Someone will say that a thing has happened. They're sick. They've called out unexpectedly. They've had to go home. A patient has a, something critical that's happening. A deadline has been moved up by a day or two. Some presentation that was supposed to be next week now has to be tomorrow. Those kinds of things all have to happen before 3 o'clock, before 5 o'clock. It's kind of funny. For me, I do break my day into chunks. It's obvious, right? I've already said that I kind of break my day into 8 to 12, 12 to 1. And I'm realizing as I talk to you, I also break my day into like 1 to 3, 3 to 5, and after 5. Because if you do a thing before 3 o'clock, people have time to respond to it before 5 o'clock, which is different than the thing that just needs to get done before end of day, and that can happen between 3 and 5. And then there's the stuff that has to happen before the next morning, which is 5 to 7. It wasn't really any one thing. It was more of a slow gravitational pull. Um, I think it's really important, to get philosophical for a moment, to try to play to your strengths rather than try to spend your time fixing all your weaknesses. You can't let your weaknesses be critical points of failure, but I'm not good at seeing patients really, really fast. I'm good at spending a lot of time with patients. I'm good at working in teams. And that just works much better in an academic environment that does in private practice. So, different strokes for different folks. This is mine. Um, no, it was, in retrospect, exactly the right choice for me. It suits my sort of slower pace. It suits my desire to kind of work with lots of different people. It suits my desire for variety. So I love seeing patients, but I also love team building and I love research. And academics is really the only way I could see to do all of it. I said I was a planner, but I haven't planned my career. So most of it was unplanned. You say yes to good people and to good projects, and you see where that takes you, while kind of having a general overarching goal. I think you have to be willing to improvise. So I had a sense of the kind of thing I wanted to do, and it could have taken a lot of different shapes. But key mentors, right? I'm in neurology at all because I happened to encounter a particular side of neurology as the first thing. It was the only, in medical school, it was the only specialty that actually had a live patient presentation. And they came in and they had someone who'd had a left-sided stroke. And that seems so straightforward now, but at the time it blew my mind. There was this person who'd had a change in their physical brain that was changing what they were able to do and to be. And it's like, this is what I want to do. So if that moment hadn't happened, things would have been different. Then, key mentors. I had folks who told me, exactly some of the things I said to you all. play to your strengths. Don't just worry about covering your weaknesses. That's something that has really affected how I've chosen to do things. At key times, people came in. Someone said you should join the AAN, so that was like the first thing that I did. My second year residency, I think, was the first Hawaii, or at least the last Hawaii before this one. And it was an amazing conference. I actually went to the conference. I thought I wouldn't because, Hawaii. But at the time, things were so different. We received like these booklets beforehand. There was none of the online stuff that makes it so much easier. But I read through all, and I still have them. I still have my thing about, I still have my thing on Ciguatera. Anyway. The AAN kind of became a home for me, so it really has done a lot for my career. It kind of went on from there to doing the Emerging Leader Forum. That was deeply formative. So meeting lots of really spectacular folks and really being conscientious and thoughtful about how to give back to neurology and how to be a good leader to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. That's how I met Ralph. That's how Ralph heard of me. And then that's how, after 10 years at Wake, I ended up coming to Miami. When my chair left Wake Forest, Ralph came in and said, well, we've got this great opportunity. And none of that would have happened without those whole series of meetings that I just outlined. So stuff like that. If I have to start with one thing, and I guess I do, it's being able to be part of a team. So I just have a spectacular group of people that I get to work with every single day, who are all both dedicated to, of course, patient care, but also this larger mission of creating something, that lasts beyond just us. This idea of creating a body of knowledge, creating a way of practicing, an understanding of disease, feeling like I'm making a difference in that way. For me, in the fight for Parkinson's disease is probably the most meaningful thing for me besides my family. It's great. It's something that I think offers something for everyone. There's a home for everyone within academic neurology. It's too varied for there not to be. There are certain mindsets that are rewarded. I think you have to be both, as I've touched on in other answers, an improviser and a planner. Lots of unexpected opportunities are going to come your way. You have to have laid the groundwork to be able to take advantage of them, but you can't predict exactly which ones will bear fruit. Not really. So I think academic neurology allows you the most opportunity to kind of have fun with things. So it's not as much, I think, my impression, a set path as private practice can be. You have to have some luck. You have to have a lot of luck, right? Like I said, saying yes to good people and good projects, but I mean, you have to have the good people and good projects to talk to in the first place. So communities, again, to mention the AAN, where those kinds of things can happen, where you end up in that sort of glass being shaken around, bumping into all these other people, are absolutely critical. I think that that's what academic neurology really rewards. So if that's the kind of thing you might like, academic neurology is for you.